Let's talk to Henry Bolton, international border control expert on the subject of Europe and possibly Africa as well. David Lammy's off to Africa. Keir Starmer's off to Hungary. Meanwhile, back home, everything's going to rack and ruin. Henry, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
I mean, I can't help but laugh at the lefties' reaction to the Trump victory because it is quite delicious, you know. When you see somebody like Carla Denyer, the leader of the Green Party, talking about him being a fascist, you know, a criminal, a man that doesn't believe in the truth. I mean, it's completely off the scale bonkers, isn't it?
I haven't seen that clip until it came on just now. It's absolutely mind-blowing, isn't it? I mean, these people live... I don't know where they live or what sort of world they live in because... You know, the reason Trump won this election and so decisively, I mean, he's got the Grand Slam. He's got the Senate. He's going to almost certainly have the House, and he's obviously won the presidency. And the reason for that is that people want strong leadership. They want people who are going to put them, a leader that's going to put them first, the leaders' people first. They want somebody who's going to keep their streets safe at night and somebody who is going to deal with the things that they perceive as risks and threats to their way of life, including mass immigration. That's what they want. And what we've got in this country, and I think Jeffrey just now was alluding to it in the States, we've got people in the city centres living in their rather affluent, and I'm going to say privileged little communities, places around sort of Notting Hill and so on in London, where they've got, so it is multi-ethnic and everybody's wealthy and everybody's, you know, there are nice sort of restaurants and bars and wine bars and everybody gets on. That is not the real world for the majority of people who live either in the United States or in the UK, but it is they who, even Disraeli back in the 1880s was saying that it is the urban liberal elite who have the arrogance and the conceit to tell the rest of us how we should be living and what our values should be, but they don't live like the rest of us. And that's the reason why they're all having this meltdown. They just simply can't comprehend that this has happened. But that's because they are the ones that live in a bubble.
Well, this is the problem. Let's just talk briefly about what's happening over in Hungary. We've got Keir Starmer over there talking to Viktor Orban. He's not a big fan of immigration, as you know. And also David Lammy off to Africa. Apparently he's going to be convincing Africa, or at least talking to Africa, to say that we need a new strategy with Africa. I'm not sure what he means by that, but presumably what we'd like to see with Africa is that people stop deciding to leave Africa and come here.
Indeed, Mike. Sorry about the camera just now.
Don't worry.
I mean, I've always said you've got to deal with the elements of the push, why people leave the place that they're leaving, the region that they're leaving, and refugees, and I keep saying this, refugees do not want to leave the region that they've been living in because they hope to return. That's what a refugee does in any part of the world. They stay in that area. But we're talking about economic migrants. Why are they leaving the areas that they want to leave? How are they then moving? Who is facilitating that? That's the criminal gangs and so on. And then what attracts them to the United Kingdom? Those three elements must be dealt with, but they are not. Actually, we've just been talking about Donald Trump. I mean, he has got a massive, almost one of his sort of flagship policies is mass deportations of illegals, undocumented immigrants in the United States, of which there are up to around 13.7 million there. 6.4 million immigrants have entered the US since Biden took office. Just over half of those are estimated to be illegals. So he wants to deal with this, and I'm hoping that if he does, that he will. Some of the European leaders, you talk about Viktor Orban, of course there are some exceptions, but the majority of Western European leaders are absolutely scared stupid to even have this conversation, Mike. They won't go there. So I'm hoping that he might just give them a little bit of encouragement by succeeding to an extent in the United States. But David Lammy, I mean, you know, his comments about Trump, I think it make him unfit to be foreign secretary, whether he regrets them or whether he doesn't. Donald Trump is going to put, as you said earlier in the programme, tariffs on imports into the United States. Our exports to the US are valued at £188 billion, so tariffs would have a major impact. The question is, whether Lammy regrets what he said, however sorry he is he now the best person to try and negotiate some sort of favourable conditions with our closest friend and ally in regard to protecting US trade with the US, our trade with the US? So there's a whole range of questions there that this election of Trump throw up. We could go on.
No, absolutely right. We can't, unfortunately, because we haven't got a lot of time. Henry, thanks very much indeed. Henry Bolton, International Border Control expert there.